The woman arrives at night, pulling a suitcase toward a grand estate. Inside, guests mingle at a lavish party. The woman enters the hall. Her expression determined. Two women gossip nearby, casting scornful glances her way. She sees them, her face hardening. A flashback shows a little girl crying alone on a dark street. Abandoned. A young boy extends his hand to her. Back in the present, a man in a white suit descends a grand staircase, a woman in a black dress on his arm. The man spots the first woman, his face breaking into a wide, surprised smile. He rushes down to meet her. The woman in black watches, her expression souring. Later, she confronts the gossiping women and slaps one hard across the face, her eyes cold with warning. An older woman, the mother, storms over, grabbing her arm and dragging her outside. The man in white moves to follow, but his fiancée stops him. He looks conflicted. Outside, the mother screams at the woman, her face contorted with fury. The woman's eyes fill with tears. The mother continues to yell, her words like daggers. Suddenly, the mother strikes her, a sharp slap across the face. The man in white runs out just in time to see it. He rushes to the woman's side, tears streaming down her face, utterly broken. Nearby, a man in a black car receives a message, his face hidden in the shadows. The woman enters a sleek office. A man in a brown suit stands by the window, holding a golf club. He turns, a cold look on his face. She pleads with him, her hands clasped nervously. He circles her like a predator, his expression mocking. He leans against his desk, looking down on her. Her face falls at his words. He smirks, clearly enjoying her discomfort. She looks up, shocked. He gestures dismissively, then beckons her closer. She hesitates, then steps forward. He closes the distance between them, their faces inches apart. He leans in, a cruel smile on his lips. She freezes, her eyes wide with disbelief. Defeated, she turns and walks away, a triumphant look in his eyes. The woman sits by her friend's hospital bed. The friend is pale and weak, wearing a beanie. The woman hands her a credit card, but the friend pushes it away, her face etched with worry. The friend tries to get out of bed, but the woman gently pushes her back down. Later, the woman stands at a reception desk. A man in a suit approaches, his face a mask of arrogance. He sneers at her, taunting her. In disquay, she glares back, her jaw tight. The receptionist hands her a phone. The woman's face lights up, but as she listens, her expression falls. The man in the suit laughs cruelly. Just then, another man in a blue suit arrives, flanked by bodyguards. He walks past the first man without a glance and stops in front of the woman, a small smile playing on his lips. The first man stares in disbelief. The woman enters a sleek office. The man in the brown suit is there again. He turns to face her, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. The woman stumbles in the street. The man in the brown suit catches her, pulling her close. She pushes him away, her eyes flashing with anger. He grabs her arm, refusing to let go. A black car pulls up. He hands her his white jacket. She notices his initials embroidered on it, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. He smirks, then turns and walks away, leaving her standing alone. Later, at a formal dinner, the man in the brown suit sits across from the man in the white suit and his fiancée. The fiancée glares at him, her jealousy palpable. The man in the white suit's mother smiles sweetly, but her eyes are cold. Just as the tension reaches its peak, the woman from the street enters the room. All eyes turn to her. The man in the brown suit stares, his expression unreadable. The mother helps the woman zip up her elegant white dress, her expression stern. The woman looks uneasy in the mirror. Later, she offers a slice of cake to someone off-screen, but the man in the brown suit intercepts it. Taking a bite himself, she glares at him. Annoyed, he leans in close, his voice a low murmur. Just then, the fiancée enters the room, followed by two other women. The fiancée confronts the woman, her eyes blazing with fury. The other women join in, their voices dripping with scorn. The woman looks down. Humiliated, she turns to leave, but the fiancé grabs her arm. The man in the brown suit steps between them, his gaze cold and hard. He speaks to the fiancée, his words sharp and cutting. The fiancée flinches, then storms away in a huff. The fiancé whispers something to a man in a patterned blazer. He grins, a predatory look in his eyes. Later, at the dinner table, the woman, now in a white shirt, takes a sip of her drink. Suddenly, she feels dizzy. She stumbles to her feet, her vision blurring. The man in the white suit calls out to her, but she rushes out of the room. In the hallway, she collapses against a wall. A waiter appears, offering to help. He leads her down a corridor, but she realizes it's the wrong way. She tries to pull away, but he holds her fast. She struggles, her cries for help echoing in the empty hall. The man in the brown suit appears at the end of the corridor, his face a mask of cold fury. The waiter freezes, then releases her. The woman runs, throwing herself into the man in the brown suit's arms. He holds her close, his eyes never leaving the waiter. She clings to him, her eyes filled with a desperate plea. The woman walks into a room, her reflection shimmering in the glass. The man in the brown suit watches her from his seat at the dinner table. The fiancé glares at the woman's expensive shirt, her eyes filled with envy. A woman in a blue jacket approaches the woman, her expression hostile. She grabs the woman's arm, trying to rip the shirt. The woman struggles, pushing her away. The man in the brown suit stands up, his face thunderous. The woman in blue backs off. The fiancé glares at the man in the brown suit, her face a mask of fury. He ignores her, his eyes fixed on the woman. The mother orders them both to leave. The fiancé and her friends walk away, gossiping amongst themselves. They spot the man in the patterned blazer. The fiancé's face lights up with a wicked idea. The woman looks at the man in the brown suit, her eyes pleading. He stares back, his expression unreadable. Back at the dinner table, the man in the white suit suddenly stands up, a worried look on his face. His fiancée tries to stop him, but he brushes her aside. He rushes out of the room, asking a waitress if she's seen the woman. The waitress points him in the wrong direction. In a hotel room, the woman sits on the bed. The man in the brown suit watching her from a chair. He smokes a cigarette, his eyes never leaving her. She offers him money, but he just smirks. She gets off the bed, walks towards him and pulls him into a passionate embrace. The woman clings to the man in the brown suit, her face buried in his chest. He looks down at her, his expression softening. The waiter who drugged her stands frozen in fear. Another man appears and punches him in the face. The waiter collapses. The man in the brown suit glares at him, then sweeps the woman into his arms, carrying her down the hall. He lays her gently on a bed. She sleeps fitfully, tossing and turning. He watches her from a chair, smoking a cigarette, his face a mixture of concern and something else, unreadable. She wakes up, looking around in confusion. She asks him to call her brother, but he refuses. She then asks him to take her to the hospital, but he just stares at her, his eyes dark and intense. A woman screams as a man pins her to the bed, but the man in the white suit bursts in. The man in the white suit apologizes and leaves. In the hotel room, the man in the brown suit lifts her into his arms and carries her to a pool. He gently lowers her into the cool water. She looks up at him, her eyes filled with gratitude. He reaches for her, but pulls back at the last second. Just as the doorbell rings, he walks away, leaving her in the water. A doctor enters the room. The man in the brown suit tells him to check on the woman. The doctor assures him that everything will be kept confidential. The man in the brown suit stands over her. He tells her to take off her clothes so he can dry them. She hesitates, then looks at him with a mixture of fear and desire. Suddenly, the man in the white suit bursts into the room. He sees the man in the brown suit, shirtless, and his eyes widen in shock. The man in the brown suit smirks, then puts on a shirt. The man in the white suit confronts him, his face a mask of fury. The man in the brown suit just laughs. The man in the white suit storms out of the room. The woman calls out to him, but he's already gone. He finds the man in the patterned blazer, laughing with the woman. The man in the white suit's face hardens, and he throws a punch. The woman lies in bed, the man in the brown suit sitting beside her. He leans in close, their lips almost touching. She looks up at him, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and desire. He pulls her into a passionate embrace, their shadows dancing on the wall. Suddenly, he pushes her away, a look of disgust on his face. He throws her onto the bed, his eyes cold and hard. She looks up at him, her face a mask of confusion and hurt. Later, the man in the white suit receives a phone call. He rushes to the hotel room, his face a mask of worry. He bursts in to find the man in the brown suit pinning the woman to the bed. The man in the white suit stares in disbelief, his heart breaking. The man in the patterned blazer screams as he's pushed into the pool. The man in the brown suit watches from the balcony, a cruel smile on his lips. The man in the blazer flails in the water. Sputtering and cursing, the man in the brown suit just laughs. The man in the white suit arrives with his bodyguards. He confronts the man in the brown suit, but the man in the brown suit is unfazed. The man in the white suit glares at him, his fists clenched. Later, the woman is back at the reception desk. She asks to speak to the man in the brown suit, but then the phone rings. And it's for her. The man in the white suit confronts the man in the patterned blazer, his face contorted with rage. He punches him, sending him stumbling back. The man in the blazer laughs, wiping blood from his lip. He taunts the man in the white suit, who lunges at him again. The woman rushes to stop him, but he pushes her aside. The man in the blazer continues to laugh, his eyes filled with malice. He threatens the man in the white suit, who just stares at him, his eyes cold and hard. Suddenly, the man in the brown suit appears. He kicks the man in the blazer in the chest. The man in the blazer lands hard, his cigarette falling from his mouth. The man in the brown suit walks away. The woman sits on a sofa, the man in the brown suit beside her. He leans in close, his voice a low murmur. She pushes him away, her eyes flashing with anger. She throws a wad of cash at him, then storms out. He watches her go, a smirk playing on his lips. Later, she's back at her friend's hospital bed, feeding her soup. The friend looks weak, but her eyes are filled with gratitude. The woman takes a bite of the soup herself, a small smile on her face. Suddenly, a woman in a black jacket storms into the room. She bumps into the woman, sending a basket of fruit tumbling to the floor. The woman in black glares at her, her eyes filled with malice. She taunts the woman, who just stares back, her expression unreadable. The woman in black continues to insult her, her voice dripping with venom. The woman finally snaps and slaps her across the face. The woman is on the phone, talking to the man in the brown suit. He's sitting at his desk, a smirk on his face. She tells him she's washed his shirt and will bring it to him. He laughs, then tells her he's busy. Later, she arrives at his apartment. He's sitting on the sofa, a large Doberman at his feet. The dog growls at her, and she jumps back in fear. He just laughs. She tries to leave, but he stops her. He takes her phone, and she tries to get it back. The dog barks, and she throws herself into his arms. He looks down at her, a slow smile spreading across his face. The man in the white suit arrives at the hospital. He finds the woman in the hallway, her face bruised. An old man in pajamas stands beside her, his granddaughter glaring at the woman. The man in the white suit confronts them, his eyes flashing with anger. He gently touches the woman's bruised cheek, his expression softening. The granddaughter scoffs, and the man in the white suit's eyes harden again. The woman tells him she's fine, and he reluctantly leaves with the old man and his granddaughter. He enters the old man's hospital room. The old man is now in bed. He tells the man in the white suit that the woman started the fight, but the man in the white suit doesn't believe him. He picks up an apple from a nearby table and takes a bite, his eyes never leaving the old man's face. The woman in the black jacket confronts the woman in the brown coat, her eyes blazing with fury. The old man in pajamas stands beside her, leaning on a cane. He scolds the woman in the brown coat, his voice filled with contempt. The woman in the black jacket smirks, a look of triumph on her face. The old man raises his cane to strike the woman in the brown coat, but she doesn't flinch. He lowers his cane, his face a mask of frustration. The woman in the brown coat just stares at him, her expression unreadable. The woman in the black jacket tries to slap her, but the man in the white suit appears and catches her wrist. He glares at her, his eyes cold and hard.